Hi everyone, my name's Traci Cornelius. I'd like to welcome you to Get Creative with Traci. Today's tutorial is the first of 7, showing you how to use the new spiral flower die from Stampin' Up. It's in the new Spring Summer catalogue, which is really exciting. You'll find it on page 32, and it's just this one here. So it's $15.95. And you can do so many different things with it, hence why there's going to be a number of different videos. So you'll find one for every single day this week. And today, I'm going to be showing you how to make these beautiful tags. Really like them. And they are super simple as well, which is even better. Okay, so first thing that you want to do is cut some of your cardstock. I'm using coordinations for this particular project, and you'll see why as we go ahead. And I've cut these ones to 4.5 inches square, and that's so it will fit on top of the die perfectly, and then we can run that one through the Big Shot. So for this one I'm probably cutting through, well, I'm cutting through 4 sheets at the same time. One of the great things about the thick cut dies is that you can cut them out of anything. So you can do material, you can do chipboard, you can do acetate, you know, your window sheets, anything else like that. So if you're using coordinations cardstock, you will need to make sure that you've got it face down. Okay, so just pop it onto your Big Shot machine. Make sure that you've got a cutting plate on the bottom, and then your cardstock over the top of your die, and then a cutting plate over the top, and then you can just scroll that through. If it cracks and things, if you're fairly new to using the Big Shot, that's perfectly normal. You don't need to worry about that at all. And the plates will last for ages. You can see that mine are very well loved. Okay, so once you've done that, you'll actually have your spiral flowers cut out. So we can just pop them out. And there we have it. So we've got 4 that we've cut out. So for the first flower that I'm going to make is one of our roses, and we're going to make one of the larger ones. So if I just show you on the red one here, we're going to be making this one here. This glitter is still fairly wet, so I have to be careful I don't get it everywhere. So really, to make one of the larger ones, you actually want to have 2 on top of each other. Now do pop back tomorrow, I'll be showing you how to do a 2-tone rose, but for today we're going to be doing 1. But to make sure that I've got a little bit of texture and a slight difference, I will be taking the sanding block that you get from Stampin' Up. It's really easy to use. You just peel off the little sections and then put them back, so it's really economical. So we're going to be sanding one of the edges for this, and to do that, just make sure that you hold it quite taut and that you hold it down, and you're just going to rub the sandpaper over the top, and then hopefully you'll be able to see. You see that we're now getting a rough edge to that. So just going through, and if it peels like that, don't worry, you can peel it off. It all still adds to the texture, it's pretty good. If you push the sand block outwards, you'll get more of a feathered look, as here. If you go towards you or away from you, then you'll have more of a distressed petaled look. So it depends if you want a more of a feathery feel or just a distressed look, and you can mix and match it up as well. And then you just want to do that all the way around so that you've done it on all the petals. When you get to the centre section, this is where we're actually going to adhere the petals all together. Okay, so just remove all of that. And then to make sure that I'm going to remove it from the actual flower as well, we do have a little lint remover as well, which is ideal. As you can see, that picks it up so much easier than me trying to brush it off with my hand. Okay, Once we've done that, I do actually want to make the cardstock more pliable, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to spritz it. So this is just with one of our little spritzers, and I've just got a little bit of water in there. So just spritz it a couple of times on both cutouts. Let the water soak in for a few seconds, and then very technically we're just going to squish it. And the same with the other one, just going to squish that again. And then we're going to unsquish it. Don't technically know if that's a word, if not, it is now. So just uncurl it all. When you're uncurling it, you will need to be careful. Obviously we have made this wet, so the paper is a little bit more delicate. But once you've done that, we can lay these ones up, or layer these ones up together. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I've got the pattern of the coordinations cardstock facing up, and then I'm just going to layer them over the top. And the one that I've sanded the edges and distressed the edges is going to be the one that is on top. So just move this around, and like I said, because the cardstock is a little bit wet, you will need to be a little bit careful so that you don't rip it. Once those are layered together, you can do this one of two ways. You can either just curl and then you know, continue curling it around with your fingers, or you can use your tweezers. I use tweezers. It means that I can get a better curl for the centre. It means it can be tighter than if I try doing it with my fingers, but really that's down to personal preference. There isn't any right or wrong with this at all. And then all you're going to do is just continually curling it, and try as much as possible to make sure that the two layers are at the same level. You can see this is so quick as well. Okay, and as we get close to the end, this section is going to tuck underneath, but I only need really that section for the outer layer, so I'm just going to rip that one off for the inner layer. And before I glue that into place, because I want to open up the rose a little bit, I'm going to let it go and ease it out a little bit. Not too much from the outside, because now I actually want to take the tweezers and I want to uncurl it a little bit from the inside. That's tightening it. And the reason for doing that is that if I was just to do it from the outside, then I could end up having really loose petals, whereas if I start doing it from the inside, I can make sure that it's pretty much even. I know that my fingers are in the way, I apologise. So hopefully you can see that that's uncurled, you know, pretty much enough. You could continue to do that if you want to, you can make it a bit bigger, but I'm going to leave it as that. Because I've made the cardstock wet, I'm going to be using a hot glue gun to adhere this together. If you don't want to use a hot glue gun, if you haven't got one, you can use a sticky strip, but you will need to wait until the cardstock is dry, and then that will make sure that it stays together. With a hot glue gun you do need to be careful. I've done a number of these and I'm not sure if you can see, but I've already got a war wound when I wasn't paying attention as well. The other petal, the outside petal, you also just want to add a little bit of adhesive to, and then tuck that in as well. Okay, so as you can see, that's pretty much formed the basis of our rose, and it looks pretty cool the way it is, but we want to make it look a little bit more realistic. So to do that, we're going to push out the outer petals and just keep doing that. So you're just literally bending them. And the great thing about this is when you're going into the inside, because of how this is all put together, you can do that without really damaging the rose at all. See how amazing is that? It just looks perfect. And that's really all there is to it. And you can just manipulate that as much or as little as you want to do. So that's how to make a double one using the same coloured cardstock. I'm just going to show you now how to make your single one. So we're going to make a slightly tighter rose using one, and that's because of how I've layered these ones up. You can see that I've done the same using the pink as well. So this time, because I want them to be tighter roses, which technically if you were to think about how they're going to grow, it means it would be a newer bud. So therefore I'm not going to be distressing these, because naturally they would be more pristine as they're growing out. So all I'm going to do is spritz them. Spritzing it just means that it helps to break the fibres of the cardstock down. And it gives it a really good effect. Obviously with the future videos that you're going to see this week, you'll see different effects. So we're just going to squish it again. Same with the other one. Plus it's really therapeutic doing this. And then uncurl. Same with the other one. And then we're really just going to do the same process again, except this time with a single layer. So I'm taking my tweezers, just folding in the inside, and then I can go all the way around. And I'm doing this fairly tight because obviously I want to make sure that I've got quite a tight rosebud on this one. But it's a fairly quick process. For all the different types of flowers that I've made in the past, this is definitely one of the quickest ones I've done with one of the best effects. So even things like wedding invitations and that type of thing really wouldn't take too long to do. So once you've done that, it depends how tight you want your rose really. You could just leave it like that. I'm going to open mine up a little bit, and then I'm going to open it up from the centre as well. And then move that around, and now I can pop on some glue. Again, I know that my fingers are in the way, but that's because I really need to hold it into place to begin with. Because if you let it go obviously too much, then it would uncurl too much, and then it wouldn't have the right kind of effect. So hopefully you can see now how beautiful that rose is. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to bend out the petals slightly. And by doing that I'm making a flatter kind of rose. And then exactly the same on the other one. So just going through that again, you're just going to take the centre and wrap it round. And like I said, my preference is to use tweezers. I find it much quicker, but you could use just your fingers and twist it round, that's also fine. And then for this one, I don't really want to loosen it at all, so I'm going to pop the adhesive on just at the bottom, popping it down, and then I want to make sure that I just do these side petals as well. Okay, and now I can just bend the petals back as well. This petal is a little bit too loose for my liking for what I want, so what I'm going to do is just add in a little bit of adhesive down the bottom. And if I'm doing it at the bottom, I can then push that in, and then you also won't get to see the glue from the top, which is pretty good. So again, just tease out those petals a little bit, and then it will all match in together. There you go, how awesome is that? And as you can see, I've added these ones onto the tags, so I'm just going to show you how to complete that, and then that will be today's spiral flower project. So to make the tag, I've used another of our new products from the Spring Summer catalogue, and that's one of our tag top punches, which is fab. So all you need to do is cut your cardstock so that it is 2 inches in width, and whatever length you want. Mine is 4.5 inches. Pop it in and move it all the way to the top so that you can hear and feel that it doesn't go any further, and just punch down. And as you can see, it does my perfect little tag for me, which is ideal. Now for these ones, this one I've stamped using en français, and this one I've popped through the Big Shop machine using the Pretty Print. So reach over again. I'll use the en français for this one. And this time I think we will stamp it using the gold. You can still get the gold and silver ink pads. They're also in the spring summer catalogue, so look out for those. And for all the products that you can see here today, you can just pop onto my online shop and get them. You will find a link on the blog to everything that I've used for this project as well, so that can save you a lot of time and a lot of searching. So just going to stamp this one out. Just put in an even amount of pressure because I've used the gold as well. And then because it's a stickier ink, you may have to peel it off. That's very, very pretty. Pop that one to one side. And then all we need to do really is to layer our roses on the top. Now if you want to create leaves in the way that I've done here, then that's also quite an easy thing to replicate. I've actually used the bird builder punch, and I've used the wing because the other leaves are a little bit too delicate really. I wanted one to be more round. So again, using Coordinations cardstock, and this time I'll just create two. I've got my two wings, and then if I take my paper piercing mat and also the embossing tool from my scoreboard, it means that I can just create the veins, and it also gives it a bit of shape and depth if I do that. So I'm going from the tip because it's easier, and just making my little vein all the way down. Again, I've got to hold this into place, so I'm sorry if my fingers are in the way. And then just ease out so that you're making that leaf shape. And I'm doing this actually on the pattern side of the cardstock as well. And then just going over it to, you know, give it a bit more depth. And then you've got two perfect little leaves as well. So for this one, I think how do you want it to be? See, still play around with things even now. I think what I might do is actually have that one that way, just to give you a little bit of a difference. So again, popping on some glue. Once yours is completely dry again, you could just use some sticky tape. That would probably be the best thing to do, because you do want to make sure it's got quite a strong bond. And then adding on the little roses. Now when I pop these ones on, I really try and squish them in to the larger one, because it just makes it look a little bit better. Yeah, I'm just going to pop that one in there as well. There you go. Now we've got 3 different types of tags using the same spiral die, but they all look slightly different depending on how you've done it. To add the little glitter, all I've used is the dazzling details on this one. It looks just as stunning without. It looks quite effective with the ones that have got them. I personally prefer it on the lighter cardstock. You don't tend to see as much of the glue, but again, that's personal preference. You can add in your little sentiments or anything else that you want to do, little bits of ribbon, that type of stuff, and then you've kind of finished it off. So thanks very much for watching. Like I said, to get any of the products used today, then please do pop onto my online shop. You'll find the link at the bottom. And do leave me a comment. I love to hear from you and love to know what you think. And do join us tomorrow for day 2 of the spiral flower die. Thanks very much then. Bye.